everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Lone Coat Mafia podcast. It is I, the Reverend Godfather, show's main host and frontman, and this week is another 4-state Comic-Con panel episode. As you remember, 2 weeks ago was our Podcasting 101 panel, which is still available for all of you to listen to, but I digress. That's 2 weeks ago. This week is LaineyCat and Austin's panel called Cosplay with LaineyCat and Austin. And I know a lot of you out there are kind of sick and tired of the panel episodes, but please bear with us. There's two main reasons why we like giving you the panel episodes. One reason is because they're content. Another reason is they're informative. They're instructing you and stuff. They're telling you great things and how people tend to do stuff. So, especially with LaineyCat and Austin telling you about cosplay and how they make their outfits. So, and how they do things. And the other thing is, this right now, over the past couple of months, me and Big Candy, without going into too much detail, have been having a rough patch, let's say. It's kind of been going around, and this type of content allows both me and Big Candy to kind of rest up, refresh, and by the time the new year rolls around, we'll have some great hostfuls, hopefully, to give to all of you. So please bear with us. That's why we have these panels and interviews that we scored for you. So please bear with us. Please share these panels, share our episodes. Click the like button if they're on YouTube, or if you listen to us on the Podbean app. Spread them around, because it not only lets us know that you like these episodes, that it also lets the people who do these panels know that what they're giving out is being enjoyed as well. That's one of the main reasons why we put out these episodes. So, that being said, I'm going to continue this rant kind of on the other side of this panel, because I want to step back and let LaineyCat and Austin kind of do their thing. But before then, I want to kind of give our standard disclaimers, and that is the following. One, this is we here at the Lone Coat Mafia podcast do not lay claim to this content. Meaning, even though we are sharing it with all of you, and it is content, it is not ours. It is LaineyCat's and Austin's content. They were willing to share this content with us to distribute it to all of you, so all of you have this wonderful information. That's number one. Number two, we're doing this because it allows you to be a part of a convention. That being said, is because we know that not many people can get to a 4-state event, or able to get to any convention at all. So that's why we like doing this. Number three, that is, there was a little bit of a kind of a technical difficulty at the start, but I included that, the start of the panel, kind of like the pre-panel, so to speak, even though there was a technical kind of a thing at the start, but LaineyCat was kind of very entertaining at the start of her panel, and she was answering questions and kind of giving a lot of content and out there, so I kind of left that content in prior to it. All I did was kind of trim out all the dead spots, and the only other thing is that we had set up a third microphone to kind of catch audience questions, thinking that it would be able to do that in the environment that we were in, or at least where the panels were. Sadly, that mic did not really work in this situation, and maybe about 30 seconds to a minute of questions, or at least one question was taken out, and that's that minute, because the person was trying to relay his question and the mic didn't pick it up. That's the only thing I have to say. So other than that, I think about total 5 minutes, maybe 6 tops, was cut out, and that's mostly dead air or what the mic could not pick up. The rest is just great great audio. The mics did their job, and special thanks to LaineyCat and Austin for allowing us to record their panel and give it to all of you. So, again, here's their panel.
If you don't know me, my name is LaineyCat. A lot of my work, I do like to, obviously create actual, accurate costumes based off of characters and whatnot. But coming from an artistic background, I really like designing my own stuff. So I like to put little spins on, various characters and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be like a miracle if we have it, but otherwise I'll just talk about my process and everything. Hopefully it'll make sense. If not, we are just gonna be woo. I'm gonna we'll just raid the bar and have a cosplay social. I know, because everybody's in costume, so haha. My guess is we all like playing dress up. I'll just start throwing out some stuff. So how many people are interested in designing gaijinkas? If you know what a gaijinka is. Yeah. Thank you. Right? So for those of you who don't know what it is, I know that Pokemon is probably one of the most commonly humanized things in the world. Hey, Mitty! Are you gonna help solve my problems? I hope so.
I got caught with this one.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. You have an Apple TV? Oh my god. You saved my life, so I can just do it off my iPad. Yay, so now I don't have to just ramble and be like, oh god, this.
Just turn it out.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said. We'll just turn to a beautiful picture of cat. Right now it's just a picture of a cat. Yeah. Pretty little baby. I don't know. Yes. I'll just give you my iPad and you can just do whatever to set it up. And then it should just be up on PowerPoint, so. Woo! I feel like the most neediest person ever. I was like, help, I don't know what to do. I mean, you can. I would like you to.
And just for the sake of disclosure, everyone, this panel is being recorded for my podcast. If you want to listen to it, even though you're here, feel free to answer questions. This is just for disclosure purposes. So.
I mean, definitely, if you guys have any questions while we're going through, please just be like, hey, I have a question. We'll talk and, figure stuff out together. But yeah, totally feel free to interrupt. Because I want this to be very it's like a big old hangout chat session. So I'll be talking about my nonsense. So yeah. I know I do. Well, once it's connected to the Apple TV, it's wireless. I'll have my iPad. I know. Otherwise, I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, it's all good, dude. Getting the magical word of the cat out there. So.
Main reason is for 9/12 others.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh. I'm gonna give you pets behind the ear later. I'm just letting you know. Oh my goodness. You're gonna sit right up front. I'm gonna stare at you the entire time. I'm gonna give you flu-floos. Flu-floos. Goodness, that's next on my list. I'm totally gonna gonna be a furry little cat beast, and everyone's gonna hate me. I'm just gonna do it it's gonna be my own personal persona, and everyone can just be like, who is this? Really? Meow meow. Nobody's gonna know. She's so cute. Joker. I did the Suicide Squad Joker, which is another my jacket's 100% screen accurate. I had a friend with a hookup on getting me set photos of the jacket, So I got like ridiculous detail shots, like insane details, like so the stitching and everything on that is like to the jacket that was used on screen. My Harley Quinn, I did holiday special. I did the holiday special Harley Quinn because, you know, Harley is such like a fun character to like cosplay. I really like, I mean, I guess because I'm like low-key psychotic, I just think that like more energetic characters or something I personally really like to dress up as, because you have so much fun and it's, you know, get to run around and be like, yay! So I just try to find things that I enjoy. And no, not be obnoxious. Oh, I'm a Marvel girl. 100%. I am a Marvel girl. Raven did Teen Titans. I forgot about that. Ooh. What do you mean Loki? Like Loki, the actual cat? Oh no. You know, it's funny because of like my hair, like yeah, I've had people suggest you should be Loki, but yeah. I want like giant horns. I want to be really obnoxious with giant horns and be like, haha, guys. But I thought you meant like low key, because I'm always like low key. Yeah, that's what I was like, what you mean low key? Because I got my little side projects. I got secret stuff because I'm a troll. I know. Next weekend I'm gonna have like a new costume, so, and then I'm gonna, after this panel, I'm doing a kind of like casual thing for Halloween, doing a Beetlejuice, so that's gonna be fun. Gonna go like quick change and run around, just like yell, say my name 3 times, damn. Like you'll be in the middle of the comm floor just like Beetlejuice, 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 and I'll be like, you rang. Gonna be like, really? No, because they butcher things. That's what's gonna happen. See, like another thing, I am a huge Gremlins fan, and they keep talking about a Gremlins reboot. Like, I'm like, please don't. Just, I don't want your CGI ruining my babies.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
That's what I fear. Like any time that they bring up like, oh, we're gonna reboot this or let's make the sequel, I'm like, please don't. We can't do this like modern day CGI. It's just trash. I'm a practical effects, like let's build something cool and run with it.
Yay.
We working now? Lit. It's okay.
Still a power cord on something. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
working or not.
Oh,
May have
okay.
been the fire alarm. I don't know.
We don't need the fire. It's okay.
Probably just leave the building.
Exit. And if you look to your left, you will see an exit. Hey! Alright, fire safety 101. We're all safe and good. And this is why I need an Apple TV. Hint, hint.
I don't use it as much as what I probably should, but what I do.
I want an Apple TV.
It's absolutely a lifesaver. And
Yeah.
every hour of every day.
Well, now that I'm like primarily like iPad everything, I'm like, oh, I gotta type a research paper, no problem, iPad. This is basically a really epic build up, okay? And then y'all are gonna be like super let down. I know that's gonna be next. I'm just gonna be like, wow. Or we're gonna just show really horrible things. Like my cat. We can look at Padme some more. One of the furry beasts. It'll be a panel about talking about all your pets. So we all remember where the fire exit is in case we need to get out of here in a quick little moment.
We've had like 4 carbonated drinks explode today, and I almost had a panic attack.
It's another one! Oh my goodness. Just slowly like, alright. Quiet down in the halls. I haven't put my glasses on. This is legit. I can see. Is it working or no? No! Alright. I'll just have like 20 minutes. It'll be like 40 minutes of technical difficulties. Oh, yeah. Oh, so I'll just destroy your time. No, it's cool. No, well, LOL. I actually don't know. Oh, there's a button for it. Sorry. I hope these aren't like projecting my voice, because I'm gonna yell. All the evil. All the evil. You know, this like lateness gives everyone time to slowly come in. Yes. I know. More people, I can fill your heads with knowledge and power and brainwash you all. Just stare at the TV screen once it's working. Get on my PowerPoint. Liddy! Alright. Just because I'm a psychopath, press the play button. Yay, guys, look, it's working! So now I'm going to conquer the world and talk about, you know, how we're going to do it.
Feel free to go past 3.
Okay. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to run my mouth and, you know, whatever happens is going to happen, so. Alrighty, Roo. Okay, guys, we're going to start talking. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if these are, like, functioning, but I think I can project my voice well enough. I talk really loud, so hopefully y'all can't hear me. Just be like, and I'll, you know, either I'll figure this out and, like, be like, hi, guys. No, I don't want to do it. Okay, so I'm LaineyCat, and this is my partner, Hurting 29. Woo! And we have been cosplaying together for 5 years. I met him, and then we basically started just like putting our brains together and making like a bunch of stuff. We do a lot of like props. We do a lot of like, we make our own patterns. We literally do so much crazy stuff together. It's just, you know,
It's a good time.
yeah, we just kind of like bounce back and forth. And, you know, we basically, like, one of the things that I said earlier, and for those trickling in now, I am like, you know, I do a lot of art and everything. And I come from an artistic background. I go to school for art. Like, I do so much crazy shenanigans. So I was kind of like, okay, well, I love all these characters. I love all these different fandoms. Like, I want to push it to something, you know, and start creating like unique things that, like, you know, I mastermind like created, and just really start like pushing my work in like directions and like playing with stuff. So, you know, just basically having fun and creating unique like characters and putting fun spins on everything. So, you know, one of the things I really like have, you know, when I first started cosplaying, like seeing people like do like, you know, various like Pokemon designs, it's like, oh my god, like these are so cool. Like I was just like, yes, let's do it. So basically I'm just gonna start, you know, I'm just gonna talk about like all the various kind of costuming things that you can do that kind of, you know, like with gender bends and crossovers. We have like the casual cosplay, which is like one of my favorite things. And then, you know, Gajinkas. Yay! So, first and foremost, casual cosplay. This is like one of my all-time like favorite little like, I guess kind of like pockets with cosplaying. It's one of those things where you literally can put on a wig, any like major accessories that really like identify to that character, and then just kind of have fun with it. Like, you know,
Big one with the Teen Titans.
I know.
Crazy right
Piccolo, he does these amazing, his art is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of his work, and so I had to include it because he really like pushed casual cosplay. Like, you have these characters, and then he basically created like everyday outfits for them. And I see them everywhere at conventions and everything. Then if you want to be real extra, you can like cosplay out and about in the world. Just throw on your wig and be like, look at me, I'm cute. So
Unless you're doing Beast Boy, because then you're going to be green.
or you just do it and the world can judge you. But, you know, and I think like with casual cosplay, like I know people call it like closet cosplay too, because, you know, you literally, like I said, wig, accessories, bam, like put something together. With like casual cosplay, one of the things that I really like, you know, why I love it so much is in like at conventions you have like your full like costume, and sometimes like afterwards, like you don't want to take your makeup off, you don't want to do that, so you can just kind of, you know, if you're like in between like shoots or something, like you need a little break, can always go to like casual cosplay. I love
Especially if
it.
it's something like a bigger build that you're doing, and you're wearing that, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like a break, kind of just chill out and
We see you, Iron Man.
not have to be giant, bulky, sitting over there in the corner.
But yeah, so one of just a little thing, comfort. Gender bends. So this is like, you know, I mean, obviously, if you want to stay true to the character, then totally, you can just, you know, be that character. Like, I've definitely cosplayed as some male characters before, you know, just like totally had to like flatten my chest out, try to do a more like, you know, like basic makeup. It's possible, you know, hey, you can do whatever, like, it's cool. But one of the things that I really like about doing gender bends is you're either going to do like that female spin on a male character, vice versa. Obviously, I'm going to put female spins on stuff. With like something that I do a lot is, depending on how true you want to stay to the costume, you know, like for example, my Ryuk, it's, for the most part, it's very accurate to his costume, minus the fact that we went a little more like low cut on the shirt and then a corset. I think, like, for me personally, I love corsets, and I like, and then look at Elias. You literally could just like, Elias is really, really true to the costume for the most part, and then it's just like, bam, corset. Ta-da, I'm not a boy. So you can even get like more creative with it. Like I have Star Wars, the Super Trooper, actual Super Trooper, and then my like little femmed out Super Trooper. Crop top, show a little tummy, and then I didn't wear sleeves for the undervest, and it worked out.
And my shell from Portal didn't do heels because
Heels are terrifying.
it's just easy.
Yeah.
Just the shirt and then jumpsuit.
That's why I included it. Yeah, so, you know, and then, like I said, like, because I'm coming from gender bend from, like, a female perspective, but, like, you know, for guys, yeah, hey, you want to cosplay as a girl that, like, you know, a female character, really, you can change any character, like, and what they wear. Like, there's alternatives to everything. It's like, oh, they're wearing, like, a dress, we'll break it down into, like, a shirt or a jacket and pants. Like, so much endless opportunities, and, you know, even like one thing a lot of people always tell me is like they're so like they don't want to design stuff because like they can't draw, or they, you know, don't feel like they can create something. There are so many resources out there. Like you can literally go on YouTube, you could go on Google and type in like, you know, how to sew a jacket, or hey, if you really are terrified about sewing something, then try and find, like, you know, go to the thrift shop, go walk around, find, like, you know, a jacket, modify it. Like, it's so easy to just throw stuff together, like, throw stuff on, like, 100%, there's no excuse to ever say you can't cosplay something. 100%, no excuses. That's me getting really obnoxious. Crossovers. So, obviously, I love Star Wars. And, like, one of the most iconic outfits from Star Wars is going to be Slave Leia, and I think that that's one of the most commonly crossover, like, you know, you have, oh, Slave Leia mixed with anything. I know that there was a really big Disney princess group that was done where they had all these, like, gorgeous, you know, girls that colored the bikinis in different colors and then had, like, the wigs and etc. It was so, I love their group so much, they were fabulous. And, you know, I use that as an example, but you really can cross over anything. I know one of my gal pals does a lot of like Voltron. She mixes Voltron with like everything. Like, I don't know the characters, don't heal me. But she will literally wear like, you know, I know she's like, I don't know the characters from Voltron, which I guess kills, sorry. But you literally can mix up anything. Like with crossovers specifically, like if you have two iconic costumes, you kind of just have to say, okay, well, how can I play with this one and mix it into this one? And it's like a give and take. So, for example, like, I'm just going to keep, you know, because I think the Leia example is really easy to kind of, like, work with. I designed 4. It's just I don't have the 4th pictured. Because I love Kill la Kill, one of my favorite animes. So I decided, let's do it. Kill a Kill. We have some pretty revealing outfits as is, so why aren't we going to put these girls in slave Leia bikinis? So when I started designing and like I said, you don't have to be able to draw. These are like horrible drawings, but you know what? It gets the point across. So I was basically looking at like keeping the bra plates and then the little like bikini plates kind of similar, and then putting like that little twist on it. So I was trying to figure out how to incorporate, like with Riko and Satsuki, and for those who don't know the anime, it's like the two main characters. They have these like transforming schoolgirl uniforms that basically have like eyes and like crazy things, and so it's like creating a way to incorporate
key elements over into the slave Leia bikinis, but making it known that it was supposed to be like basically if those uniforms were the bikinis.
Basically. I know, it's so cute. So, and like I said, that's just I think it's a very like basic example, but it works. And then this is probably like the most common thing that we see at conventions, and this is what I'm gonna like hardcore focus on, is with designing like a gaijinka. So it's basically, if you don't know what that word is, it's where you're taking like an animal or an inanimate object and you're basically, you know, giving it human qualities. So it's like personification. So with like I said, you know, Pokemon's probably one of the most common things that you see out there, and one of the like more, I guess, a challenge a lot of people kind of think is, you know, well, I've never kind of done something like that, so how can I create, you know, these characters and make them like stay true? And I'll be honest, like I've done some really like almost like obscure takes on characters, and it's like, for example, as long as you have like, you know, I don't have it here, like with like I'll say the evolutions, like with Umbreon, as long as you stay true to those ears, and like, you know, because I think most people when it comes to the Pokemon like universe know what an evolution is. You see those little ears, you're like, oh, that's one of those little guys, like it's little furry fox things. So taking like, you know, the colors too, staying true to the colors. I know color schemes are so important. GLaDOS. GLaDOS is fun. Yeah, like with GLaDOS is really basic, but I stuck with, you know, the white and the black. I have just the headpiece, so a lot of people, they see the headpiece, they know for the most part. If you don't know Portal, it's the scary lady that makes you do all these crazy tests. So, you know, just kept with the headpiece, and then just, you know, rest of my face, white and black bodysuit, and then the Aperture logo. So, designing fun stuff. Woo! So like I said, you know, when you start working on designs and everything, there's a couple different, you know, when you're starting absolutely with nothing, there's just a few things that you definitely want to start off with. When I pick a character, and like I'll sketch something up real quick, and you know, I normally don't color my drawings, which I'm going to talk about sketching in a bit. But, you know, I'll go walk around Joann's. Once I figure out what I'm going to make, I'll go walk around Joann's, and it will be the endless, like, walking around for an hour or two, just looking at all these different fabrics and trying to figure out, you know, what do I want to work with? What don't I want to work with? And then I buy just, like, a bunch of fabrics. And then I start kind of, like, picking out, like, all right, well, I guess this will be used for the cape, maybe I'll use this for the skirt pieces, maybe I'll use this for gloves. I just kind of slowly start, you know, walking around, like starting to develop, like, okay, this is going to be for this is going to be for that, and then I just try to like keep everything like together. Another thing beyond, if you decide to do like an armored build, that's another thing people are so intimidated about. Warbler is a scary thing, I'll be honest. I've done Warbler, I really don't like it. It's expensive. I feel like, you know, it's a very like finicky material you really have to work with in order to like get good at.
Bigger learning curve with Warbler than I feel like foam.
We primarily do all of our like prop building with EVA foam and craft foam. And with like foam patterns and everything, one of the easiest things you can do is the duct tape, like plastic wrap. Literally, you can, like, let's say you're like, oh, I want to make like a chest piece or whatever. Literally have, you know, if you have help, wrap yourself in plastic, throw some duct tape around, and then you literally have a base to draw on and create like a perfect pattern. So you can just start, you know, like, oh my gosh, okay. So you can start creating like what you're making and figure out like where you're gonna go with it. And then it's just plastic wrap and duct tape. It probably costs like $5 to, you know.
To actually make.
Yeah.
And then you have like a form to actually make your patterns off of that are going to fit onto you pretty much perfectly.
Yeah. Which with, you know, and with EVA foam, it's a very inexpensive like process. And, you know, even if you want to just like start like practicing and figuring out like how EVA foam works and everything, you just need a heat gun, some plastic wrap and duct tape, and then, you know,
Some sharp blades.
yeah, some blades. But basically, like, you know, for like a general like chest armor piece, like for a female, I'll say with a female form, it's literally just like cut patterns. And then I normally, when I do like a full like a round kind of piece, it's just one solid piece and then two pieces. It all gets glued together, 3 basic pieces, do a little heat forming, get like, you know, some shapes, and it's a really easy process. So I'm going to talk about my most recent big boy build that I did was Chernobog. What probably the most obscure character I ever picked. For those that don't know Chernobog, he was, a lot of people know him from Kingdom Hearts. He was like, I think the final villain in the first one. And that's what a lot of people are like, oh, you're the blue thing from Kingdom Hearts. I was like, yeah. So, he came originally from a 12-minute video in Fantasia, which was a night on Bald Mountain. He's basically this giant demon that comes up from the mountain and brings forth all these evil spirits. And so at KatsuCon, I was part of a Disney villains group, and everyone's like, oh yeah, let's pick villains. And I was like, Chernobog, let's do it. So, you know, they were like, well, it's not a, you know, recognizable character. And for me, I was like, you know, there's so much imagery in the video, and I was just like, I'm going to mix all these things together and just see what happens. So, like I said, design. Since it was I don't want to like say conceptual, but I did with creating his design, because he's really just a very like dark colored. We have a lot of like blues and purples, and then a lot of the actual like costume itself came from like scenes in the video. So we see like lots of fire, we see like these little skeletons and demons dancing around. So I was like, okay, like maybe I'll incorporate this into the armor and start figuring out like where things are gonna, you know, how I'm gonna work with it, because otherwise I was like, well, I guess I'll just be blue and have giant horns and wings, I guess. So I started just picking images and figuring out, all right, so this is gonna, you know, I'll use these guys and this. Then a sketch emerged. So I figured out that since it was gonna be an armor build, you at the least have to have some basic, like, you know, armor pieces. I had the chest plate, I had some forearm plates, don't want to say gauntlets, vambrances, and then my shins. So it's really this entire like build, aside from like the wings, they're ridiculous, and the horns, it was really just 5 foam plates that were really like basic shapes. They were, for the most part, they're all just, you know, almost, not diamonds, those things. And all of the armor, like with my forearm plates and then the shins, it's all the same shape, just sized differently. So it's one basic pattern, and I just kind of worked with it. And then, like I said earlier about like using duct tape and plastic wrap, that's how I created the chest armor. And, you know, you literally, like, even if you don't need that much, you know, you can take it for men too. It's just wrap it around. You can use it for anything. So that was probably the most difficult part, was just the chest armor. But once it's patterned out, like, You literally just have those patterns. You cut it in foam and glue it together. So I figured out my pattern and everything, which unfortunately I did not take pictures of my pattern plates, which kind of like, yeah. But as you can see, like with the crafting, you know, with when I started like creating everything, it really is just flat pieces of foam. Like, I'm gonna use this paper because they're almost like, you know, this, and then we're just slowly, we heat form them into like more of a curve. Foam, once you heat it up, it gets very, very like malleable, and you can do some crazy stuff with foam. So once the foam gets like heated up and just like, you know, shape it, like give it a curve, and then once you have that curve, bam, you have your piece. So I took craft foam and I did like really basic like designs. They're really just rectangles. And then I have like these weird like spade kind of fleur-de-lis kind of shapes on the chest. And then with the EVA foam, I created little like horns, which are just curved out triangles. Since I really liked the demons and like the skeleton kind of things, there were like some birds, and then, you know, you just have a lot of like skeletons. I was like, okay, I created which I sculpted out. I made little bird skulls and then like different skulls. I have big ones and then I have smaller ones. Molded them and then cast them in resin. And so that process is a little like, once you get the hang of it, super easy. But like sculpting, molding is like, it's finicky, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. And then you have molds that last forever. So I've used these like skull molds. Like I have them now. I put skulls on everything. So keep reusing it. And then, yeah, that's just various painting. When I paint, I normally just base coat everything in like one simple color. So for example, with Chernobog, I chose like this pastel-y blue just to coat all the stuff and have like a nice base. So that way when I start painting the foam, I can like build the colors up onto it. And I, you know, with him, I had purples and blues of like all different color, like, you know, shades. So I was just kind of like throwing them together, like giving them nice little pops and highlights. And then the final thing was like, you know, the fabric pieces, which I bought a bunch of like, you know, silks, and I kind of just started like cutting them apart and burning them, and then I just sewed them into a skirt, because with the fact that you don't ever see Chernobog's legs, I figured having a really like flowy skirt that had like, you know, purples and blues and then a little bit of flashes of fire would kind of help create the character, make him look fierce. So yeah, I also wore 9-inch heels. So I was really tall, and basically here's me and all my gal pals once we finished the, you know, we all got together at the convention to do the group, and I towered behind everyone, and, you know, we all kind of picked our different characters and everyone came up with their own design. It was a really fun thing. You know, they, like, for the most part, everyone, you know, they all did their own thing, and we all came together with our villains and got some gender bends and everything going on. So it was really fun. It was cool. And yeah, like I said, endless possibilities. Once, like, this is, a lot of these drawings and, like, you know, are from 5 years ago. Like, you know, I started out like drawing out like armor patterns and trying to figure out shapes that I could like put together, and then just, you know, started just making it and seeing like how materials work and how you can like work with them. Because I feel like if you don't start like experimenting and doing stuff on your own, you'll never be able to figure out how materials work, and, you know, you need to get a feel for it yourself, and then you can do anything, and it's awesome. Like, I literally love creating things. I have like little mini projects. I'll be like, oh, let's try and make this, and we just kind of do it.
One of the big things is, like, for me right now, I'm starting to get into leather work, and it's pretty intimidating. I don't know all that much about it, but it's one of those things that I want to start getting better at. Well, you go to the store, buy some leather and everything, and it's just like, well, I don't want to mess this piece of leather up because I just spent money on it. But if I don't try to do any of the new stuff that I want to make and all, and be ambitious and like really just like, all right, I want to sit down and make something today and go for it. And if it turns out like crap, I learn from it. Now I can take what I learned from that, roll it into my next project, and it'll be better. So it's like, if you're afraid to actually try something new and be ambitious, you're not really going to progress your skills, and you just gotta go for it. You try to do something. If it doesn't turn out the way you want it, try it again, and you're gonna get better at it.
Basically, so specifically with, like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself, and I'm so sorry, but like with armor, like if you want to make armor, go buy a pack of EVA foam, get a heat gun, cut some stuff out, and like see what you can come up with. I mean, the first few projects, yeah, you might be like, but you're never gonna learn unless you try and you just start like fiddling with stuff and seeing like what you can do. What's up? Yeah. So sometimes I actually like to speak on the last that, like, to stay away. Some things that, I often get, like, I have been very intimidated by like casting and sculpting. Like, I've been sculpting for a while, but it's the casting process, like making molds and everything. That's something that I've always like dreaded because it's very it's a lot. And for me, it's just like, if you mix something wrong and you like your cast can be like, the mold can be ruined, the cast can turn out horrible. Like, there's just so much, and I've always been like really like scared with molds. But recently I've started, I have a friend that does it, and he's like let me come and explore his workshop, and like we cast a lot together. I've helped him do molds, and working with friends that have like that experience for me has really helped me learn the process, as well as not feel so scared about doing it. But like you said, a good place to start out, so right off the bat, I would say if you want to really start making something, don't pick a super, super, super complex build. I will say that is the one thing that, as a beginner when you're getting into costuming and prop making, is don't expect like right off the bat that, materials you've never even like worked with, you're going to be able to build. Like, this is what I originally, like, what got me into costuming, like an Iron Man suit. I literally knew nothing about costumes, and I was like, well, let's do it. And then after like, a little bit, a couple months, I was like, I'm not doing this. This is not happening. And for me, like, I played to what I was good at. So I can sew. I've been sewing for a very long time. I've started, getting more and more practice with creating patterns and stuff. And so I would really recommend, for your first few things, pick less ambitious projects so you can learn, and then you can slowly start working your way up. So like create and design stuff that isn't going to be super like difficult. So that way you can start getting a feel for things. And even pick like random projects like, oh, today I'm going to make I'm going to make foam gauntlets. And you can just, buy the foam and pick small projects, so that way you can get the feel of, well, if this is how, I heat this up for X amount of time, I start like, moving it around, like getting to shape it, you can start, getting a feel for the materials. Because that's like, once you learn how something like...
Basically what you can do with that material, you can kind of get more of a range of what you're going to be able to make with it.
That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah. And then, if you're doing, depending on the character and stuff, depending with what the costume is, I'd go into thrift shops all the time looking for different material, like just shirts or pants or anything like that I could maybe incorporate into that costume. And if I have to modify it, add some stuff to it, add some armor pieces or something. But it's something to get you started into it, and
like start with a base.
Right. Have your base down. That way you can kind of add the other elements that you want into the costume.
Yeah. Anyone else have any interesting questions you can harass me with? It doesn't necessarily have to be like directly to, you know, I mean, if anyone knows my work, you can ask me about specific things. Like, I can speak on materials. I definitely say, like, if this is, like, as a first off, you want to try and make, like, an armor or something, don't do Warbler. Play with foam and learn how foam works before you invest the money in, like, an $80 roll of Warbler. Like, $10 versus $80. Play with foam. It's great.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with foam.
So much stuff. And there's, like, just... You can wrap, like, fabric around foam. It's crazy. Craft foam, it's really thin, but that stuff is, like, so malleable. You heat that up. I've made, like, masks and everything because you can really, like, form it to your face and get details that are, like, insane. What else? Yes! Oh my goodness. I know yours, Super Trooper.
No.
Why?
Not even. Because I was... Well, I guess that one from the start. My Super Trooper, for mine, I guess that would be incorporated and thrown into that. Just because that was one of the first costumes that I really started on. And it's been remade 3 times. Just because I started different materials, learned more about it, what to do and how to use it. And just basically upgraded every time that I did it. I would say personally though, was when I did Demon Vi, did a gender bend on that, and that was like my first time really getting into sewing and patterning out stuff. And I did the vest that the character wears, and I had to pattern that out.
Photos of it.
And I patterned it out, went to the Joann's, found the fabrics that I was going to use, and it was like my first time sewing something with like a lining and all that other kind of stuff. I just watched a lot of videos on sewing and all that kind of stuff, and really took my time with everything on it. It didn't turn out perfect, but I was really surprised with the end product just because I was so patient with the sewing aspect of it. But that one's probably one of my more...
I totally forgot about that. I wanted to put pictures because, like, with Demon Vi, and I'll speak on it, watching you, like, work on it, you know, the vest, he was, like, one of the first projects, like, he really sewed without my help.
Yeah, pretty much any time before that sewing stuff, I just got her to...
It was, like, you know...
help me with this.
He did the pattern all himself, and, like, you know, with the... It's hard to, you know, if you guys don't know it, like, the vest has a lot of, like, detail pieces and everything, and he even has, like, functioning pockets, and I was like, jeez, like, and he was just like, hey, look, I made this, the collar, everything, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, you did this. I was like, wow, man. And then the hands, like, because they're the, Vi has giant hands, and he created, like, almost like puppet fingers, so when he has like pulleys inside, the fingers bend and everything. And I was like, wow, like, this is such a cool thing. Like, the entire project, I'd have to say, like,
I had a lot to it that I'll put into it, and the fingers and all ended up breaking and all, so that aspect. Next time I know what not to do and what worked and what didn't work, so I can eventually it's going to
see, and failure happens.
Yeah.
At the con, he's sitting there playing with them, and then what happened? Fingers just slowly start. I think the line, because there's fishing line, they just started breaking. It's like, oh, there goes that. Oh, there goes that. And I'm like, you have giant hands. That's all that matters. So yeah, it happens. I mean, you'll be like in the middle of. I think one of the most common things I've had, like, just to talk about, like, you know, failures, is, you know, occasionally straps break with like armor and everything, and I have had so much. I know. Hi, honey. It, like, literally just having, like, an armor strap, like, it snaps, and you're like, and, you know, if you don't have, like, your little, like, super glue handy somewhere, then you're just like, well, and, you know, that's a basic fix, but
I'd say one of your, I guess, more in-depth cosplays that you did, I think, was really the Ryuko and
I was gonna say,
Gen
yeah,
Jets
we're
when
from
she
like
was on.
Kill la Kill.
And that was a while ago, but that was like,
As like a first, my first time creating something big and like an
Patterning
armor. Like I
it
never
out.
worked with foam. When we first started dating and like making stuff together, it was literally like I did the sewing and he did the foam work. And so I was like so intimidated by making props. I, didn't want to like mess with anything. I was like, all right, well, here's the size, you can do this. And I literally would just kind of start like passing projects off on him, like foam work wise, because I didn't want to mess with it. I was like, this is not going to work out. I'm going to have like, it's not going to line up right. Like, so, and then, eventually he was just like, how about you just take these patterns and just cut it out yourself? I can't make this. And I was like, no. And then, I kind of just had to suck it up and start figuring it out. And now I do like almost very few projects. I'll be like, I need your help. Touch this. Help me. But for the most part, I do everything. Like he builds his costumes, I build mine. And, occasionally we come together because, he'll be like, hey, do you think you can like paint this for me?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh,
He's a
yes.
painter, too,
Throw colors everywhere. And,
I
teamwork.
can paint my Super Trooper business all the way.
Yeah, I know.
It's easy.
I don't know help on that, but yeah, I would definitely say my Kill la Kill stuff's probably because it was like the first time I ever worked with like, foam. It was kind of like, oh god, like, and then I like had to be extra. And like for those that aren't familiar with it, the character I picked has these giant shoulder triangle points, and I think mine were like over 3 feet. I was like way too extra with
You're
it.
probably like
Yeah,
up the
I think
ear,
they were
maybe.
like I honestly feel
Off
like
your
they were
shoulder?
like a solid yardstick, which is like
Maybe.
3 feet, but
Probably close to
they
it.
might have been. I don't remember if they're big or not, but like
With the part that hung down too, probably.
yeah. And then we had to like figure out how to keep them so they'd stay and everything. And I was like, big stuff, and they have like slight curves to it and everything. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And then like one of the most underappreciated aspects of the costume is the back has this vent that literally has, it's like a vent, it has little like vent, it's a vent, it has thingies and it does vent things.
It has vents.
Yeah, it's a vent. Like, and we really he
Trying to get that part
getting
patterned out
angles.
with the already
I feel like that was the most
created
complex thing we ever did. Was
thing
the
to
vent.
it, which is annoying. And
Yeah.
that part was just a pain in the butt. But it ended up working out.
Sewing wise, I want to say
Cutting
Joker
somebody's-
jacket. That thing was a beast.
Yeah.
When my Joker jacket, like I said, it's 100% screen accurate. That thing was in it, like, I probably have close, like, in between 40 to 60 hours in one little jacket because, like, working with, like, it's entirely done out of, like, upholstery vinyl, and I had to, like, color it myself. Like, I made the pattern, like, everything, and that thing was just, like, a monster, and I never wear it.
Yeah. You were last year.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyone else have anything exciting they want to ask? But I do have to say, like, there's patterns all over the internet. I used to post my patterns on my Facebook, and because I wanted to, like, stuff that worked for me, I wanted people to be able to see and have access to. But then it kind of slowly, I really stopped. Not on purpose, but, just keeping up with everything is like, whew, it's daunting. It's a pain. But yeah. I mean, if anyone doesn't have any other, like, strapping questions, then you're all free from my grasp, and you can go out and enjoy the rest of your con.
Awesome.
Yeah, but thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you learned something. If not, but yeah, and like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free, like, about specific stuff. I have tons of photos and, like, of, like, work in progress stuff and everything. So if you ever have a question, like, stop by my booth, like, grab a card. You could, like, email me, like, message me. And between the two of us, like, we're always willing to help out and, do the best we can with, like, people, like, learning to do stuff. And, if we...
Questions on, like, anything
Yeah.
that you think we might be able to help with, we are more than happy to do what we can and try to answer questions or
Point you in
give
the right
advice.
direction, like
or
do
that,
something.
yeah.
So, because we do so much stuff, and our knowledge is available if anyone wants it.
Our little bit of knowledge.
I know. But thanks, guys!
I hope all of you enjoyed cosplaying with LaineyCat and Austin. I hope all of you got some tips and tricks and learned a couple of new things about cosplay and how cosplay things are done and costumes are created. Special thanks to LaineyCat and Austin for allowing the show to record their panel and share it with all of you. Elise LaineyCat's information to her social media will be in the description down below. And if you're listening to us through a app that does not provide the description in any way, shape, or form, whether it be Apple Podcasts or iTunes or Google Play Music or Google Play Podcasts, you can always email the show, which is longcoatmafia@gmail.com, and with your questions, I will be more than happy to pass the information along to her so she could contact you with the proper information. That's if you please. And again, I know all of you, to kind of continue the rant from earlier, I know all of you are sick and tired of the panels and everything else. I don't know if it's this time of year with all the holidays like Halloween and Thanksgiving upcoming and Christmas and New Year's upcoming, but we've been having a low number of downloads, especially after a show. I don't know if it's you guys and gals are getting content fatigue. We at the show are not getting any type of feedback in any way, shape, or form from you listeners in regards to whether it's that or not, or if we're getting some sort of nasty reputation to kind of back up the aspect of us being the most hated and the least listened to podcast in Berkeley County. But please, folks, one of the things that we do ask all of you is to please share these episodes, especially the panel episodes and the interview episodes, because what they do in the long run, as kind of stated briefly at the start of the show and before the panel, these types of episodes help those who cannot come to a 4-state event or a Paracon event to be there, meaning that if someone is sick and cannot go, or they live too far away, or for whatever reason they cannot make it to a convention, it allows them the chance to go without leaving their house. And besides, even if you did manage to get to the show and you missed a panel such as cosplaying with LaineyCat and Austin, it allows you to catch up on that panel. That's what this is for. And remember, we at the Long Coat Mafia podcast want to maintain that we are a geek podcast, not just pop culture, but everything that is considered geek. That's what we stand behind. And having these panel episodes, whether they're Paracon or 4-State Comic-Con, they're there to kind of inform you, to instruct you, to kind of let you in on the different aspects of the different geek cultures that are out there. And not to mention the interview episodes that we have and we provide that we are able to get without being called out for whatever reasons. Please listen to our episode stemming from 4-State Comic-Con in regards to why I said that. The interviews that we do get is a way for you to kind of speak to the guests that are at that show, or at least the ones that we've seen. Granted, there's times that we cannot get every guest for whatever reason, but the ones we do get and do interview, we kindly provide for you as part of a virtual convention experience. So that's why, again, we ask you to share. So the voice of the Long Coat Mafia podcast in regards to what we share with everyone gets to as many people as it can. Not to mention, as this time of year, a lot of schedules change, especially mine and Big Candy's. That's part of the reasons why these panels benefit us, because we've had schedule changes. So it helps kind of ease the pressure in regards to giving all of you content, or providing content with all of you on a weekly basis. So it's twofold. For you, it's out there listening, it's a win-win scenario. So that being said, please help out the show. Even though we do have a GoFundMe campaign out there to help the show, right now it's not a time to release frustrations out on all of you that I'm having right now, because I do want to close out the show. So that being said, if you have any general questions, comments, and so forth and so on, you can do so by emailing us at longcoatmafia@gmail.com. And you can always follow us on Facebook by clicking that like button at facebook.com/The Long Coat Mafia Podcast. We are also on Instagram. The handle is Long Coat Mafia Podcast. Our Twitter is also Long Coat Mafia. I'm sorry. I'm going through a lot right now. Our Instagram handle is Long Coat Mafia. Our Twitter handle is Long Coat Mafia. So please follow us on those platforms as well as Facebook. We do have a YouTube channel. Just that when you're using your YouTube app or the YouTube webpage, please search in Long Coat Mafia Podcast. The show does come up that way. Please be advised that we do ask you to not just subscribe to us on YouTube, but also subscribe to us on Facebook. The reason being is because I tend to post exclusive videos either on Facebook or YouTube. So by subscribing to both, liking and subscribing to both, you have the best possible chance of getting all the content that you're missing out on. So please do so. What else? I'm sure there's a lot more that I could give you. There is many reasons right now. As you can probably tell in my voice, it seems like I am going through a lot. It is. I am. It's more emotionally. I don't want to go through that now. But please be advised, next week will be our interview with Jesse L. Green, a.k.a. Captain Mongo, a.k.a. Captain Decapitate. So that's that. Stay tuned for loads of great content over the next couple of weeks. Besides, we also have, I believe we also have like 2 more panel episodes stemming from Paracon to give you, but I just want to give the 4-state stuff first, so stay tuned. It's a lot of interesting content on its way. So again, see you guys next week, and I am out.
See you next time on the Long Coat Mafia.